Hello and welcome back to the Sketchpad Pod. I'm Alicia and I normally do a podcast on this channel with my cousin Honor, so definitely go check that out. But today I am going to be making a bandeau patchwork top out of denim and red fabric. This is something that I saw on Depop, you know, late night scrolling, window shopping, that sort of thing. I have also made a tutorial on sewing a mod dress. That took me about 5 days. This project only took me, I'd say, 2 to 3 days. So if you're interested, keep watching and let's start the video. Hey guys, so I'm out in my art shed today and I've started by cutting out a little template for which I can put my patchwork scraps onto, and it's fairly simple. I'm not doing anything too complex, but I did decide to add some darts in on both sides of the front of the bodice. This is optional. I just thought it would create a nicer shape and a bit of a curve to the fabric, which would make it easier later on when fitting it to my body. And here we go, I'm just sewing in those darts, starting from the bottom of the bodice and then working up to the triangle that makes that shape at the top. Here you can see I'm just rolling over all the raw sides of the fabric to create a simple hemline, which you can either sew with a zigzag stitch or a straight stitch. I decided to start with a zigzag stitch at the bottom of the bodice, but after I'd seen the actual results of it, I decided I would continue with straight stitches along the sides and the top of the bodice, purely because it's a simpler stitch to do and it won't be seen after I've added the patchwork. So I just found some scrap denim that I had left over from some shorts I'd made, and it worked perfectly for drawing out a grid and cutting out my 2-inch squares for the front of my bodice. I then got rather sidetracked when my mum brought in our newly born chicks. They're so cute.
I'll take them back to the heat lamp.
Thank you, that was great. After cutting out the squares, I went round the edges and tried to make them look a little bit more frayed and scruffy. The next step is to pin all your squares down. I would recommend picking a different fabric to alternate with your denim, and I chose red because it just made a nice contrast to the blue. I didn't necessarily stick to alternating the colours, but tried to make it a little bit more random and have that nice patchwork feel. Now, I don't think there's one right way of sewing these patches down, but I decided to do straight stitches across ways over the bodice, and I just used one colour thread. If you wanted to, you could use blue thread over the denim and red thread over the red squares, but I liked the way it turned out just using the blue thread. I did of course go back over and sew those squares that come loose, and then I moved on to adding some accent squares of denim, but it's also really useful to add more patches to where some of the light white fabric might be showing through. I attached these accent squares using a single stitch but creating a square shape so that they were really nicely held down. So I knew I wanted a zigzag back to this top, so I needed to make some loops. I made this out of ribbon which I just sewed in half and then cut to length. I pinned the loops onto the bodice, trying to make them as even as possible, and then I used a straight stitch to secure them. Here you can see me measuring myself with the string and then using that as a rough estimate for how much string I would need. I think I took about 5 or 6 lengths of this. I threaded the string through and there you have it. The top was ready to try on. And there you have it, all complete. I'm really happy with how this top turned out, and it's definitely one of the more wearable pieces that I've made, so I'm looking forward to using it in the sunny weather. And thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe down below. I hope you're all well, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!